thing about SEO. This is the thing about Google, and listen up because this is like the only secret. This is the secret to SEO.
Welcome to Manage Chaos Podcast, where we give you the startup business rundown in less time than it takes for you to get to work. I'm Katrina Purcell, and today I am joined by an amazing guest, an absolutely wonderful human, Meg Clarke. And we're going to be talking about SEO, or search engine optimization, if you don't know what it means. We talk about a lot of buzzwords here. Meg is a truly wonderful human being. I met her through Dreamers and Doers. It turned out, though, that we were actually soul sisters and we didn't know it. So both Virginia girls, we both went to James Madison University. We both majored in SMAD. Go Dukes. And Meg founded Clapping Dog Media. Go Dukes, Duke Dog. There you go. And Search Party, where she is rebranding SEO to make it empowering, fun, and wildly impactful. Because I truly believe that nothing Meg does could not be fun and wildly impactful. With nearly a decade of experience helping hundreds of businesses improve their Google rankings, she bridges the gap between complex SEO strategies and practical implementation. So without further ado, Meg, I'm going to let you start to take over and let's chat about making SEO fun and empowering. I truly believe that you can make anything fun and empowering, but how did you develop that approach? Like SEO is normally known for being pretty technical and kind of intimidating.
Oh, thanks. Well, I am so happy to be here, and go Dukes, go SMAD. Well, great question. This is the thing about SEO. This is the thing about Google, and listen up because this is like the only secret. This is the secret to SEO. And that is that Google tries really hard to put the best answer at the top of all the search results pages. There's bazillions of searches every day, and it's in Google's best interest to put the best answer at the top of each search query, because the more people spend on the search results page, the more money they get paid in ads. So it feels like Google's trying to do a really great thing by putting the good websites at the top. Really, they're just filling their pockets, but we get to take advantage of that. And that is what is so empowering, because I truly believe that you are the best at whatever it is you're doing. And there are so many people looking for that, but they can't find you. Like if they don't know your brand or your name, but they're looking for your expertise, I want you to be found because you're probably the best at what you do, and you serve your clients in such a way that it really helps and empowers them. Like, I want you to be found, because if you are, you can really kind of turn down the engine of ads and social and all of the other forms of marketing, because there's 8.5 billion Google searches a day, and surely some of them are looking for you.
Surely. I really love the thought of it's really more about being found and not the technical aspects of making sure you can be found.
But, there's two parts of SEO, and and this is where we get such like the negative connotation, is there's the technical side of SEO, which is all the coding in the back end and technical audit crap. Lovely things. Now, typically, I think that takes about 10% of your organic traffic, and it is important. Like if there is some command back there that says, don't crawl my site, you're not going to get crawled. So it is really important. There are some people, there's some SEOs out there, I'm sure you've come across from them, who focus on that. I call them loopholers, like people who really understand the algorithm or the latest change to the algorithm, and they find a loophole to technically get more traffic, but they don't necessarily care where the traffic comes from or what kind of traffic. So those are like the scammy people, excuse my French, but the people that give you that icky feeling because they're like, hire me, pay me, whatever, and I'm going to get you 30,000% more traffic. Cool. They probably do, but it's probably traffic that you don't want. So that's the one side of the thing. And I like to focus on the other side of SEO. I mean, I do tech audits, but honestly, they're not that productive in terms of traffic. But if we spend our time providing value, telling people who we are, what we want to be found for, telling Google what our expertise is so that they know where to put us in their catalog of memory, then it's cool, because the people who are looking for you will find you. And it is about it's not about being like kind of loud in the scroll of social media. It's like, no, somebody needs you and they need your expertise. And if they find you, they're already warm. It's
Right.
not, it's a proactive approach versus oh, you stumbled across this shirt on Instagram and now you have to have it. That also works. Exhibit A.
Right.
Yeah. But when you're really proactive about showing up for how you want to be in the world, people will find you. And you're right, the right people will find you.
Yes, I love that. So AI is obviously changing all of the landscapes. We cannot go 5 seconds without hearing about it. So what should small business owners, startups really focus on right now to ensure that they're getting found by those ideal clients? So as you mentioned, the people who are really actually looking for them.
Yeah. Well, AI, I mean, I think it was a trend that you might have mentioned in one of your episodes about the trends for 2025. AI is changing everything. From an SEO perspective, it's on two sides. Like there's an AI search, so you want to be found for AI search, and then there's using AI to create content. And right now I'm a fan of both of them, to be honest. Like you have to use them both. There's not a ton of details about how to show up in AI overviews and AI results, other than if you are who you say you are, if you provide a good product or service and you're providing value to people, you're going to show up in the AI overviews. And I've seen that again and again with my clients. Like they're getting traffic from Google because they're showing up in the AI searches. And so our tactics are very similar to what our normal tactics are for Google. If Google thinks that you're an expert, then AI is as well. So that's kind of how I feel about AI on the user end. Now that will probably change in the next, 5 minutes and 3 years. But for now, we're still like leaning on having a good, authentic business, providing value, showing up for where you want to show up and doing it consistently. And that pretty much wins.
One thing I have noticed is when people are using it for content creation, it's a thought partner, but you shouldn't just copy and paste it. Have you ever seen some of those things that where it's just so obvious that someone has used it, and it's like, use a little bit of your own pizzazz in there, as much as you've tried to coach that AI agent, it doesn't sound authentically human all the time.
No, it's like, there's the keywords. It's like, could be like a drinking game. Like in this fast-paced digital world, like, that's not from you. Yeah, well, I'll have a plug for one of my favorite AI tools that I'm like so fangirling over, and I have no affiliate to it other than I just love it. But it's called Get Poppy.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's so great. We can put the link in our notes, but you have the ability. It's very similar to how you like train a ChatGPT-4, but you build a different brain, quote unquote, for each of your clients or for you. And you can load in YouTubes and social media and emails and audio files and images, and it can really distill your voice. And so I have found that one to be really helpful.
Okay.
Now by zero, never, ever am I going to say, take whatever Poppy says and post it on your website. That is not the case. But it gets you a little bit closer. And like I've literally told it, don't you ever, ever use these words again. And they're like fast-paced digital world, like in this changing environment. Like
those buzzwords.
Or journey. Like journey shows up everywhere. In your online journey. Like, no, stop it. I would never do that.
I would never say that.
So I would never say journey. Unless I'm talking about the band. And then
I was about to say, unless you need some good 80s cover songs. And then, well, here we go. So you've helped hundreds of businesses improve their Google rankings, right?
Yes.
Is there some simple change? Is there some one thing that you have seen that tends to make the biggest impact? Something easy, or even if it's not easy, but just that simple change that folks can do?
Yes. And I will say this forever. So when Google crawls your site, they don't crawl the front end like users see. They crawl the back end where all the code is. And one of the very first things that it crawls to understand who you are and how you want to be ranked is something called the SEO title. So it's a little bit different than what's on the front end even. So if you're working in Squarespace, it's under the SEO settings. If you're in WordPress, there's tools like Rank Math or Yoast where you can specify it. If you don't specify one, generally it will just default to the page title. And one of the things that I see over and over and over again is like the home page is called home and the about page is called about. And that is zero help for Google to try to understand where you fit. And so if you have 3 minutes a week, my recommendation is to go through your SEO titles and add keywords or specificity about what that page is about. Because Google is honestly trying to look at every page of your site and figure out where it should sort it in its catalog of memory so it can quickly pull it up. And if your page is called home or about, it doesn't know what that is. It has to continue on and spend more time crawling your site. And honestly, they have a budget. They have a crawl budget. They don't necessarily crawl every page of your site. They don't necessarily crawl the whole page. So the sooner and more effective we can tell Google what the page is, the better we'll be. So
and the more likely you'll actually show up. So I did a new site for a client, and that was a piece that they didn't even think about. Like no one ever said, oh, what should those be? Or what are the common things that people are looking for? Or what are the search terms that people might put into Google? And we want to make sure we show up.
That's exactly right.
It's just having that conversation sometimes. So we love case studies and real life scenarios on Managed Chaos. So can you share a success story with us that illustrates how a small business owner was able to sort of transform that online visibility without getting super overwhelmed? Because I do feel like this is a topic where most people don't know where to start. So they actually just don't start. And that's the most dangerous thing, I think, just in general, right? Not just in business, but in life, right? Is that you get too overwhelmed by all the steps. So help us with a story of success.
Yay, I love stories of success. I have a couple of them. One of them that comes to mind is an addiction recovery outpatient center. It's local near me, and they had a great, beautiful website, beautiful web design. There's lots of very helpful content on it, but it was misaligned. So they got a lot of calls and a lot of like contact forms and a lot of calls for addictions that they don't treat. So they're in the substance and alcohol. So they would get calls for, say, gambling addiction or sex addiction. And because their SEO was like addiction treatment and addiction help if you have a loved one who's addicted. And so they were really overwhelmed helping people who were not their ideal fit. And so because of the way they would like recommend and they would make introductions and they would send those people on their way because they were struggling. But we tweaked a few things, specifically SEO titles and some headlines throughout the site to be a little bit more specific about the drug and the alcohol addiction that they specifically treated. And so what was interesting is the overall traffic went down, but their clients increased. And so it's a little bit tricky when I present the monthly report and I'm like, well, it looks like we lost 15% of the traffic. However, conversions or when in this case, it was like filled out forms and calls that were appropriate, they increased. So it's as little as that. Like if you're like, I'm doing great, I have tons of traffic, but if it's not the right traffic, that's where a little bit of SEO tweaking can come into play. It might be beneficial.
That goes back to our episode where we talked about KPIs and vanity metrics. I really feel like traffic is such a vanity metric. Look at all the people that are coming to my site. Are they potential customers? Do they actually care? Are they going to convert? Like those are the numbers that you actually really care about.
Right. And if you just get nothing but traffic who comes to your site and then jets, that's going to hurt you because Google's looking at the engagement of the site, how long people are spending, how they click around, do they scroll? And like literally time, clicks, and scrolls are ways that Google kind of figures out if your site is a good answer for whatever the search query was. So if you get traffic that comes to your sites in jets, it's like hurting you. It's sending bad signals to Google.
Exactly. Okay, this has been an absolutely amazing episode. Hopefully you had as much fun as we did with our remarkable guest, Meg Clarke. Check out Search Party because it's going to make sure that you don't get lost in the chaos of SEO.
That's right.
For sure. There's my attempt at some humor. I can't wait to talk to you again on a future episode of Managed Chaos Podcast. You're going to find us here again next week. Thanks so much for watching.